everyone. This is my review for The Office, Season 5, Episode 18, entitled New Boss. I'm giving it an 8.7. I've actually not seen Golden Ticket. I know, that's a really horrible... Golden Ticket was the episode that aired before New Boss. I am a sad person that, Actually, it's pretty sad that I'm actually doing this, rather than having missed an episode of The Office. But, usually I don't really operate like that. I am really adamant about seeing episodes in order. But this one is just like, I hadn't got a chance to watch it. You know, I have someone that I watch it with, so it's sort of hard to maneuver that. Anyways, I hear Michael does some really douche things in Golden Ticket. Haven't seen it yet, so, you know, sucks because I always want to stick up for Michael, but it sounds like from the look of things that I am not going to get to do that. This episode was pretty freaking awkward, if I do say so myself. It reached British Office levels of awkward at times. I really truly thought it did. God, I don't even know how to really judge what happened in this episode. I agree with Michael's complaint. I will say that. Only in the fact that he has been working there 15 years, he does deserve respect. But at the same time, I think that what David Wallace has done to Michael has been ridiculously generous. I really like David Wallace. He's a character that I like. You know, when he stated his complaint, the one about working for 15 years, not being able to get in touch with David, it came off as genuine and it came off as being in the right. Everything else he explains comes off as increasingly childish. Now, Michael complains that, you know, why can't I get a hold of you? I shouldn't have to come down to New York or go up to New York to get a hold of you. But David took Michael's call in the beginning of the day when Michael addressed complaints about Charles's presence. You know, he told him that you're still acting branch manager, you know, this is just something that we're doing, blah, 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 blah. They had the conversation that is an acceptable conversation to have, and it's when Michael keeps calling him that David understands that, okay, this is just Michael being Michael, I don't have time for this right now. I think that what David does for Michael is exceptional. I don't think that any other boss would do what David does for Michael, and the sad thing is that Michael doesn't understand how much leeway he gets from him. You know, in the real world, Michael is not someone that Wallace should even have to deal with, and I think the fact that Michael's been kept on this long displays the amount of respect that David does have for Michael and his, at least in terms of his working skills, which he does have. So this power struggle between Michael and Charles was really embarrassing to watch. Increasingly so. Cringeworthy at times, hitting its high point when Michael descends into flat out mocking Charles and repeating everything that he says, and Pam gets it completely right when she says, like, the more childish his comedy routine, the more upset he is, and that this is pretty bad. It's so true. I don't think Michael's ever really had to deal with someone who won't deal with his antics before. Jan and Ryan understood that he needs to be treated like a child, essentially, but Charles is actually someone that just wants to do his job. And he wants, you know, he's actually doing his job right. I don't think that Charles is being portrayed as someone that's, like, evil. I think he's being portrayed as someone who just wants to do his job and doesn't accept work time being used in the way that Michael usually uses it. So, yeah, once he sees that Dunder Mifflin has some managing issues, he stays to see what else is going wrong. Michael, in increasingly desperate efforts to engage in this power struggle, very quickly descends. Worse and worse into his own insecurities, culminating in him freaking out and shouting that once he's done talking to David Wallace, that Charles won't have a job there anymore. Which is a ridiculous thing to say, Michael. What are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah, I thought that David handled the situation as well as anyone could possibly be expected to handle a situation like that. You know, he took the calls at first. Why would he? I just don't understand why Michael would expect David to call or to take the calls at this point. So then they have their conversation, and David thinks he knows how to handle Michael. So he tells Michael, okay, we'll move some money around. You can have your 15th anniversary party. I'll be there. He doesn't apologize for it being taken that Michael isn't respected by him. He doesn't try to refute that. He doesn't actually do anything that has anything to do with his major concern. He just tries to address the more superficial concern that Michael has, which is usually the way that things would work out, except that this time Michael is horrifyingly offended by it and on a whim quits his job. Again, like, David, the way he handled it, you know, I think he could have said something that did directly address the complaint, but I thought that he did what he thought would be a good idea. And I think the fact that he's saying we can move money around, you can have your party, I'll be there, is doing, again, so much more than what anyone would expect anyone to do. Like, that's more than enough. He didn't even need to do that. So, yeah. Michael quits Dunder Mifflin. I knew he was going to be quitting. I figured it would be, you're fired, but we suggest that you leave, that you quit so you can leave with dignity, sort of thing. Basically what they did with David Brent in the UK office is what I expected to happen. Had no idea he was going to quit in this episode. No idea he was actually just going to quit completely out of his own free will. It's a really fantastic moment in the series. It really is. Steve Carell he needs to get an Emmy. I think he has one already for The Office. I'm pretty sure that he's already gotten one, because since 30 Rock's been on, Alec Baldwin's gotten all the Emmys for that category. But 30 Rock wasn't on as long as The Office was on, and I think that Steve Carell's actually gotten one. If he hasn't, sorry. I know he's gotten the Golden Globe, though. But this episode really needs to get him another Emmy, or an Emmy, because, oh my god, he's so good in it. He's just, the way he heightens the awkwardness and the childishness and the false pride, but, like, also the seriousness of, like, the respect issue that he brings to it, and just how sincere he is about that, like, without any of the humor being involved in it, is just really amazing. I love what they did with Jim this week. We got to see one of his pranks backfire on Dwight, and he had to be at work all day in a tuxedo when the new boss arrives. The new boss arrives and thinks Jim's basically an idiot. And every time that Jim basically tries to redeem himself, he just makes himself look more stupid. Or more stupid. I don't know if that's really... It's a great phrase to screw up. Makes him look less intelligent. He pretty much makes him himself look like an ass in every scene with Charles as his attempts to prove that he's not an idiot or slacker backfire miserably. Really liked Pam in this episode. Normally hate Pam. Don't know why I liked her. I just did. Angela and Kelly running in the rain was hilarious. Yeah, next week should prove to be really great. If it, again, keeps up the momentum that it's built up with this episode. Some random notes is that even though I have yet to watch The Wire, which I plan on doing soon, at some point in my life, it's really cool that both Amy Ryan and the man who played Charles, whose name is Idris Elba, I'm not sure if that's pronounced correctly, but that they both appear on the show, so it's like two Wire alumni. It's pretty cool. I thought that Dwight's phone call to David was a bit much. I didn't like it. I thought it was over the top. Yeah. The opening, How to Be Classy, Mr. Peanut, chocolate-covered strawberries, and Michael looking at Jim for a reaction about whether or not something's classy was really funny. The quote, Jan was my lover and Ryan was my best friend. Yeah. I love the illusion that Michael has about him and Ryan's relationship. Michael introducing the entire accounting team, or staff, was priceless. All the bagels shaped like C for Charles, and finally the two-way petting zoo idea. There's some random moments from the episode I really liked. So those are my thoughts for The Office, Season 5, Episode 18, New Boss, 8.9 I'm giving it. Amazing episode. Amazing episode. So, that's all I have to say. Until next week. Goodbye.